Hello, everyone. Today we're going to read another fairy tale. This is maybe a fractured fairy tale. It's called The Three Little Wolves and the Big Bad Pig. So it's changed around here. Usually it's the Big Bad Wolf. So we're going to be thinking about how this story is similar to the story of the Three Little Pigs and similar to the Three Javelinas that I read to you recently, and we're going to think about how it's different. Before we start, I'm going to talk with you about a few vocabulary words that are in the book. We have the word sledgehammer, and I'll go through all of them real quick. We have sledgehammer, slurry, prowl, pneumatic. Notice in pneumatic, the P is silent. Fragile, fragrant. So let's talk about what a sledgehammer is. A sledgehammer is a long-handled hammer, and it has a lot of power because of that longer handle. A slurry is almost liquid, and they talk about that in the book in regards to concrete. So it's not really liquid, but it's almost liquid. And then if you are prowling around, you're moving around in a sneaky way. Something that is pneumatic, this usually relates to a tool of some sort, and it's powered by air or gas. And that makes the tool, it's a little easier to operate, so you don't have to put so much power into it, but it's also more powerful. If something is fragile, or fragile is another way to say it, it breaks or it's very delicate. When you talk about something being fragrant, it smells nice. It's a nice smelling, usually they talk about flowers being fragrant. So this is The Three Little Wolves and the Big Bad Pig by Eugene Trevisas and Helen Oxenberry. Look, they're all working on their house, and they're eating their lunch at that time. So here we go. Once upon a time, there were three cuddly little wolves with soft fur and fluffy tails who lived with their mother. The first was black, the second was gray, and the third was white. One day, the mother called the three little wolves around her and said, "My children, it's time for you to go out to the world. Go and build a house for yourselves, but beware of the big bad pig." "Don't worry, Mother. We will watch out for him," said the three little wolves, and they set off. In this story, there's a lot of other animals involved. Soon they met a kangaroo who was pushing a wheelbarrow full of red and yellow bricks. "Please, will you give us some of your bricks?" asked the three little wolves. I think those wolves are cute. "Certainly," said the kangaroo. And she gave them lots of red and yellow bricks. So the three little wolves built themselves a house of bricks. And here they are, busily working on their house of bricks. They're carrying their bricks, building the house nice and tall. This is a little different from the Three Little Pigs story because the Three Little Pigs didn't build the house of bricks till the end. So they're using mortar between the joints of their bricks. The very next day, the big bad pig came prowling down the road and saw the house of bricks that the little wolves had built. The three little wolves were playing croquet in the garden. When they saw the big bad pig coming, they ran inside the house and locked the door. "He looks mean." Here they are. They're out in the garden playing croquet. Have you ever played croquet before? You have to hit the ball in through these little hoops here. The pig knocked on the door and grunted, little wolves, let me come in." They looked frightened. "No, no," said the three little wolves. By the hair on our chinny chin chins, we will not let you in, for not for all the tea leaves in our china teapot. Well, what do you suppose happens? Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down, said the pig. So he huffed, and he puffed, and he puffed, and he huffed, but the house did not fall down. Look how red his face is. But the pig wasn't called big and bad for nothing. He went and fetched his sledgehammer. See the sledgehammer? It's a big hammer right there. And he knocked the house down. Only the three little wolves only just managed to escape before the bricks crumbled, and they were very frightened indeed. We shall have to build a stronger house, they said. Just then they saw a beaver who was mixing concrete in a concrete mixer, which I think is kind of funny because beavers build dams with their tails, so he would be an expert at working with a dam in the real world would be made of concrete. Please, will you give us some of your concrete? Asked the three little wolves. Certainly, said the beaver. And he gave them buckets and buckets full of messy, slurry concrete. So concrete that's a slurry is almost ready to set up and make something hard. It's not quite liquid and not quite solid. So the three little wolves built themselves a house of concrete. It looks like hard work. Wait till you see the house. No sooner had they finished than the big bad pig came prowling down the road in a sneaky way. He was walking down the road, prowling, and saw the house of concrete that the little wolves had built. They were playing battledore and shuttlecock. Well, we know battledore is as badminton. So you hit with the racket, you hit the little shuttlecock over the net and back. That's what that's called. They were playing that in the garden. And when they saw the big bad pig coming, they ran inside their house and shut the door. The pig rang the bell and said, "Little frightened wolves, let me come in." "No, no, no," said the three little wolves. "By the hair on our chinny chin chins, we will not let you in, not for all the tea leaves in our china teapot." Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house. Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down, said the pig. I think it's funny that they say their little tiny teapot was your tiny china teapot, because I just don't imagine that a wolf would need a china teapot. So he puffed and he puffed and he puffed and he huffed, but the house didn't fall down. What do you suppose he did? He had to think of a way to knock that house down. But the pig wasn't called big and bad for nothing. He went and fetched his pneumatic, which is powerful and powered by air, drill, and smashed the house down. Look at them in here. The three little wolves managed to escape by their chinny chin chins. But their chinny chin chins were trembling and trembling and trembling. Here's a little rescue. Oh, they moved. It looks like. We shall build an even stronger house, they said, because they were very determined. Just then they saw a truck coming along the road, carrying barbed wire, iron bars, armor plates, and heavy metal padlocks. Please, will you give us some of your barbed wire, a few iron bars, and some armor plates, and some heavy metal padlocks, they said, to the rhinoceros, who was driving the truck. Oh yeah, you can see him right there. And there's the wolf asking. And so here's the rhinoceros helping them out. See that? Sure, said the rhinoceros, and he gave them plenty of barbed wire. Here's the barbed wire. Iron bars. There's the iron bars. and armor plates and heavy metal padlocks. He also gave them some plexiglass and some reinforced steel chains because he was a generous and kind-hearted rhinoceros. So the little wolves built themselves an extremely strong house one could possibly imagine. They felt absolutely safe. What do you suppose the pig did? Ugh, he's mad now. The next day, the big bad pig came prowling along the road as usual. These three little wolves were playing hopscotch in the garden. See them out there playing hopscotch? It doesn't look like a garden to me, but it looks like a concrete playground of a prison. But that's okay. When they saw the big bad pig coming, they ran inside their house, bolted the door, and locked all the 37 padlocks. The pig dialed the video entrance phone and said, "Little frightened wolves with the trembling chins, let me come in." "No, no, no," said the little wolves. "By the hair on our chinny chin chins, we will not let you in. Not for all the tea leaves in our china teapot." "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down," said the pig. So he huffed and he puffed and he puffed and he huffed, but the house didn't fall down. But the pig wasn't called big and bad for nothing. He brought some dynamite, laid it against the house, lit the fuse, and blew the house up. Look at that. What a mess. The three little wolves just managed to escape with their fluffy tails scorched. Look at that little pig down there. He's hitting the lever on the dynamite to blow up that house. What a mess! "Something must be wrong with our building materials," they said. "We have to try something different." But what? At that moment they saw a flamingo coming along, pushing a wheelbarrow full of flowers. "Please, will you give us some flowers?" asked the little wolves. "Oh, with pleasure," said the flamingo, and he gave them lots of flowers. So the three little wolves built themselves a house of flowers. Look how pretty it is. And they describe it in the next page. One wall was full of marigolds, one of daffodils. So it looks like these might be the marigolds. And one was full of cherry blossoms. These are the cherry blossoms, the pink ones. The ceiling was made of sunflowers. That's what I thought, actually, the sunflowers. And the floor was a carpet of daisies. They had water lilies in their bathtub and buttercups in their refrigerator. It was a rather fragile house, which means it's delicate and could break easily. And it swayed in the wind, but it was very beautiful. Next day, the big bad pig came prowling down the road and saw the house of flowers that the three little wolves had built. He rang the doorbell at the door and said, "Little frightened wolves with the trembling chins and the scorched tails, let me come in." "No, no, no," said the three little wolves. "By the hair on our chinny chin chins, we will not let you in, not for all the tea leaves in our china teapot." "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down," said the pig. Well, in this house, you might be able to do that, huh? But as he took a deep breath, ready to huff and puff, he smelled the soft scent of the flowers. It was fantastic. And because the scent was so lovely, the pig took another breath and then another. Instead of huffing and puffing, he began to sniff, sniffing around. He sniffed deeper and deeper until he was quite filled with the fragrant scent. His heart grew tender and he realized how horrible he had been. Right then he decided to become a big good pig. He started to sing and to dance the tarantella. Look. And look at the wolves are looking in the back like, what in the world? He's got a tambourine up there. He's having a big old time. What do you suppose will happen at the end? At first, the three little wolves were a bit worried. It might be a trick, but soon they realized that the pig had truly changed. So they came running out of the house. They started playing games with him. First, they played Pig Pog, and then they played Piggy in the Middle. And when they were all tired, they invited him into the house. So they're all playing together. They offered him tea and strawberries and wolfberries and asked him to stay with them as long as he wanted. The pig accepted, and they all lived happily together ever after. That was a nice story. It was much different than the ones we know that we've already read. Now let's take a look at this chart that I have and see if we can compare the story. In the three wolves and the three pigs. This is a Venn diagram, and what we want to do is think about what is the same in both stories and what is different. I'll start this out for you, and then we're going to put it, there'll be assignment for you on your classroom, and you can finish it yourself. So let's see. What did we notice that was the same in both stories? What I noticed was that there were three animals that were building houses. And the three wolves, there were three wolves and one bad pig. Now, in the ending, was the pig bad? No, he wasn't. That he changed. In the three pigs and the three javelinas, there were three pigs and three javelinas with one pig. Oh, I'm sorry, I messed up. With one wolf. Now, at the end of that story, what happened with the wolf? He ran away, he got scared off, he got his bottom burnt when he got in the fire, and there was also one coyote. So the coyote and the wolf, they didn't repent. They were still not good. But the wolves, they were safe. Okay? So they didn't change. And let's see. In another thing that is the same is that there are houses that get knocked down or destroyed. Okay? But houses that get destroyed. Now, I would like for you to think about some other things that are different from each story and from these stories and other things that are the same and fill in this Venn diagram. We'll just take a couple things more to fill it in. And then you can kind of think about each story and how they were different, how they were the same. I hope you enjoyed that story and that you'll enjoy doing the assignment too. Bye for now.